What's happening, people? All right, you already heard about my George Clinton experience. So now I'm going to tell you about my Prince experience. And this was back in the mid 90s when I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. And Prince was having a concert at the Phoenix Suns Arena. That's what it was called back then. It's had many names. But anyway, so me and a friend of mine, we bought tickets to go see Prince at this concert, and it was a weird thing because the tickets were all $40, period. So everybody paid $40 to get a ticket, but there was no seats assigned, so that meant first come, first serve. So when you buy your ticket, if you want to get good seats, you're gonna have to show up early to the right there, right in the morning, stand in line to get the good seats. So it was a weird thing. But anyway, so it's the first Prince concert, and we get down there, and it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. So we're there. There's already probably 50 to 70 people in line. And we're like, what the heck is going on here, man? We didn't know this many people were going to be here. So we get in line, and the concert doesn't start until like 8 o'clock. So we are there at 7 o'clock in the morning, along with other people. And everybody's got their chairs out. They're sitting there. They got the coolers and all this. And so we get in line, and we're talking to everybody. We're, talking about Prince music and Prince movies and everything else. And we're all excited. This is going to be a great concert and everything else. So just to give you a preview, Danny Ainge was the head coach of the Phoenix Suns back in 1996. Now, Danny Ainge was a point guard for the Portland Trail Blazers in the early 90s. And he's been on a few basketball teams, but he ended up going to the Phoenix Suns, and then he became assistant coach, and then he became the head coach. So that's going to come into the story later. So anyway, so me and my friend, we're sitting there, we're having a good time, and this is everybody's day drinking, morning drinking. It's crazy. So we're sitting there, and this is when I used to smoke cigarettes and everything, and I think it got around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I already went through a whole pack of cigarettes. It was nuts because I didn't smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. So anyway, so I told my buddy, I was like, hey, I'm going to go back to the car. I'm going to grab another pack of smokes. I'll be back in a minute. He's like, all right, cool. So I go to the parking garage, grab my smokes, and I'm walking back, and I'm walking along the arena there, and I'm looking, and I see that there's one of the doors, like one of the exit doors, are cracked open. And I was like, what the heck? So I walk over there, and I open the door. Sure enough, right there. I walk in, I close the door, and I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm in the arena before the concert even starts. So I'm thinking to myself real quick, what are you going to do, Rick? And I told myself, act as if. Act as if you belong here. So I was like, okay. So I'm walking into the arena. It's like behind the stage area. Everything's open, and there's people milling around here and there. So I'm walking around as if I belong there. So I'm going around. I'm, saying hi to people and things like that. And then I see this room. So it's 1 in the afternoon. Me and my buddy, we really didn't have anything to eat. And so I'm walking past this room, and this room was full of like bottled water and sodas and sub sandwiches and everything. I think it was like for the press or something like that. There were people in there milling around and eating, and so I was just like, man, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go in and get me something to eat. So I walk in there and I just start eating. Nobody's asking me anything. Like, who are you? What? I don't even have a badge or an ID or anything. So it was kind of funny. So I'm walking around the area. I mean, this arena is huge. So I'm walking around the part where, they can drive like these huge, concert buses in and stuff like that inside the building. And I'm just walking around, and it's crazy because I'm like, all right, first of all, my buddy doesn't even know where I'm at. Is it because I've already been in this arena for like an hour? I told him I was going to be back in a minute. so, so I'm just walking, and we didn't have cell phones back then in the mid 90s, So I have no idea what he's thinking, but I'm thinking I am here and I'm going to stay here. So anyway, so a few hours pass while I'm, walking around and things like that. And I'm behind the stage. So it's hard to explain, but I'm not on the stage. I'm behind the stage. And you could walk around the side. And when you open up the curtain or whatever the veil they had, you could see half the arena because the Prince concert wasn't the whole arena. It was like half the arena. So that way it was more of a personal concert. People could be close up and see Prince close up and things like that. So I open up the veil, I'm looking, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I see the stage here, and I see the whole arena, all the seats, the half arena. So anyway, I'm walking past the back edge of the stage, and I come across this table. And on this table, I could not believe my eyes. On this table was Prince's guitars, his cymbal guitar, his guitar that he used throughout the early 80s in all his videos, his bass guitar, and I think it was another bass guitar. I forget what kind of guitar it was, but anyway, they were just sitting there on this table. And I look over to my left, and it must have been probably like 150 feet, maybe 100 feet. There's an exit door. And I'm looking at Prince's cymbal guitar. And I'm like, I could take this guitar right now, walk out that exit door, run to the car, and put it in the car, and me and my buddy could leave with the guitar. Just for a split second, I was thinking that. But then the good conscience side of me said, you don't want to ruin the concert for everybody. And this is your first Prince concert ever. Why would you want to ruin it for you? So I was like, okay, I'll be good. So anyway, I'm sitting here looking at these guitars and the bass, and this guy walks up behind me. He goes, hey, what's going on? And I was wondering why these guitars are here. He goes, well, I'm the one who tunes the guitars for Prince. I was like, what? You actually are the guy who tunes the guitars for Prince? He doesn't tune them himself? He goes, no. I was like, how long you been doing this? He goes, I've been doing it for years. I was like, wow. That kind of blew my mind, because I figure Prince, being such a perfectionist that he is, he would do his own tuning. But he actually trusted this guy to tune his guitar. So we talked about, him going all over the country and different countries with Prince and everything. It was pretty wild. So anyway, so I said goodbye. So now it's like 4 o'clock. And I know my buddy's just like, man, he's been gone for like 4 hours. What the heck is going on? And I can't even imagine what he was thinking. But anyway, so I hear some rustling going on out there in the front. And so I go and I look and I see a guy at the soundboard. So it's a soundboard guy. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going in. So I walk over and I'm looking, and I can't just sit down in a at an arena seat and just sit there, because somebody's going to be like, hey, what are you doing here? So I was like, I gotta find some way to where if somebody sees me, I belong here. So I'm walking towards the soundboard guy. It's like a little tiny setup there. He has a big soundboard, and there's an empty chair right next to him. So I'm like, that's my ticket right there, the empty chair. So I walk over, I walk up the steps, and I was like, hey, you mind if I sit here with you? And he looked at me, he's like, sure, go ahead. I was like, all right, cool. So I sit down. He's getting everything ready. He's, got his little, I don't know what they do on soundboards, but they got a lot of buttons. So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, people start coming on the stage, the band members, and they're grabbing their equipment and everything. And on the stage, they already have the equipment up there, and somebody had already put one of Prince's guitars up there and everything. And then there's a big purple piano, beautiful purple piano up on the stage. And so all of a sudden, band members are coming on the stage, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is happening, and I'm seeing it in real life. And then here comes Prince. He's all dressed like in black. It's not like a black robe. It looked like really super fancy black pajamas. I don't know what they were. He walks up on the stage and he's wearing his sunglasses and everything. And I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm seeing this. He walks up to the stage and he grabs the mic and he's like, check one, check two, check one, check two. And then he's pointing to the sound guy. He's like, a little bit more treble, a little bit bass, blah, blah, blah. He's talking like music speak to him. And the whole time that he's looking at the sound guy, I'm sitting right next to the sound guy. So he knows who the sound guy is because that's his guy. I'm sitting next to the guy who's his guy, and Prince is probably thinking, who's that guy? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting right here, and I'm sitting watching Prince doing a sound check. And then Prince picks up his guitar. He's like, and I'm like, oh man. So, and then he puts it down. Then he walks over to the piano and he starts playing the piano. And he's like, a little bit more treble, a little bit more bass, whatever he was saying. I don't know music speak. But anyway, it was amazing. That whole thing was just like Prince heaven for me. So anyway, so he's starting to wind down with everything. I'm in total shock because I'm seeing Prince in real life, not performing, but getting ready to do his rehearsal. And I'm thinking, I'm going to see Prince do a rehearsal, and this is going to be the most amazing thing ever in my life. And this guy, this huge guy, he comes in from behind the stage, comes through the curtain, and there's like stage hands and people who like clean or whatever. And he starts telling people they got to leave. This guy was huge. He was like Suge Knight huge. This guy was not playing. He had the big old VIP, thing on his chest, on his lanyard. And he's telling people, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go. And then he's walking towards us where we're sitting, me and the sound guy, and he's looking straight at me. He knows who the sound guy is, obviously, but he doesn't know who I am. So he walks up and he goes, who are you? And I said, just like this, I said, I'm the nephew of Danny Ainge. He's upstairs having a meeting with the Phoenix Suns, and that's who I am. And he kind of looked at me like, just for a split second, quizzical. And then he goes, I don't care who you are. Prince is going to do a rehearsal and you got to go. I was like, okay. I wasn't going to argue with him because, like I said, he was Suge Knight huge. So I was going to play with that. So I was like, dang it. So I walk up the stairs, and this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I walk up all the way to the stairs. I walk out to, the concession stands and everything else. And I was like, I got to figure out a way to go tell my buddy that, first of all, I'm still alive, because he has no idea where I've been for the last 4 hours. And I need to figure out a way to get back in here so I could get us some good seats. I walk up to one of the security guys that, are by the front doors of the arena. And I was like, hey, I'm one of the stagehands. I need to run out to my car real quick and grab something. If I come back to this door where you're standing, will you let me back in? He was like, sure, go ahead. I was like, all right, cool. So I walk out the door and I run down to the line. By now, this line is like 5,000 people long. It's ridiculous. And so I run up to my buddy. He's like, where the heck have you been? I've been inside. I saw Prince. He's going to do a rehearsal. I'm going to get us some good seats. Shit, I'm going to tell you exactly where I'm going to be. So that way, when you come in, you just find me. I'll be the guy like this, waving. This is the section I'm going to be in because this is where our seats are going to be. He was like, what the heck? I was like, see you when I see you. Bye. So I go back up. I knock on the door. Sure enough, man, that guy lets me in. Boom. Go in. And then I didn't get to sit there in the rehearsal, but I got to hear the whole rehearsal. On the on the outer side where the concession stands are and everything, and it was amazing. But anyway, so Buddy comes in, places are filling up. All the Phoenix Suns had their own seats. Perfect. Boom. But that concert was the best concert I've ever been to. And if you've ever been to a Prince concert, I'm telling you, the music, the songs that he sings that you hear on the radio sound 10 times better live than they do on the radio. Or even on the CD or record, whatever. Because most concerts that you go to, if you hear somebody in a concert, they sound okay. Sometimes they sound awful. At a Prince concert, he sounds 10 times better than you've ever heard before. And he mixes it up because he makes a song and he has like 10 different versions of that song, and he'll do it in concert. Boom. But anyway, that was my Prince experience. I wish I could have got to meet him, but I got to see him close up and very personal with my eyeballs. And that was good. I saw him in concert twice. This story was the first time. The second concert wasn't that grandiose where I got to sneak in or anything, but it was a jam. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and peace out.